Hi everyone, Marcin here. Today I would like to present you the API Drift, a brand new SmartBear MCP Server tool that helps you keep your API definitions in Swagger and contracts from PactFlow in sync with the actual implementation. So let's dive in. Let's start with the app itself. So as a part of the project, we created a very simple to-do application that consists of both server-side part and the front-end part. If you want to see that in action, you can see that on my screen right now, and we can see that we can create a new task, as well as we can edit the existing task or delete the one that we do not care about anymore. The application, the front-end part of the application actually, was instrumented with Bugsnag. So if we go to the dedicated project in the Bugsnag dashboard, in the network request section, you can see that we are reporting 4 different endpoints: get, post, delete, and put. And they are taken straight from the implementation, and they are being sent from the live app on the production. Then the same API from the server side was actually designed using Swagger, and here is the actual definition of that API. What we can clearly see right now is that there is a bit of a drift between those two. So if we look into the Bugsnag, you can see there is a put request that is missing on the Swagger part. What means that the documentation on the Swagger part is actually outdated, and someone forgot to actually update it at some point. When we move to the code, we also have the PactFlow contracts testing implemented in the application itself, so you can see some kind of additional tests. And they are also outdated, so there is no put request in here. With the tool that we bring to the MCP server, we actually are solving that problem with just one prompt. So what I will do right now, on the right hand side of my screen, you can see I'm actually asking in the Copilot, in that case, to use our MCP Detect API Drift tool by providing some additional information about the projects in both Swagger and Bugsnag to discover some kind of undocumented endpoints, analyze them, and then review the pack tests as well. If we look into the actual tools, you can see that this new tool actually was added to the server. So apart from the Bugsnag and contract testing and API Hub tools, at the very bottom of the list, we also see the new tool that we created, SmartBear Detect API Drift tool. And that's the tool that we are actually intending to use during that demo. So let me right now fire this particular prompt. And you can see that the Copilot started working, and it's firing this Detect API Drift tool. If we go into the details, you can see that actually it detected that the put is missing. And in the response, there is a really nicely formatted summary that there are 3 common ones, but there is one missing from Bugsnag and missing in API Hub. So right now you can see that the Copilot is actually processing that, and he's examining the exact specification of the API here locally. And if we go to this open API documentation, we actually see that with that detection in place, Copilot updated the spec with the put request. It also increased the version of the API. So in here you can see in the flow of that reasoning, right now it actually fired the update of the documentation on the Swagger side. So yeah, right now with that, it's actually moving into the PactFlow updates locally. But what we can do is we can go in here and refresh the screen. And in 1 second, we should see the completely new version of the Swagger specification. And then if we go to 1.0.1, you can see the put request was actually included in the documentation right now. So the problem was solved, and right now both the implementation and the data from Bugsnag are actually in sync with the to-do list. And as you can see, with just a single SmartBear MCP tool, we can simplify quite complex process of comparing the production data with the definition of the APIs, especially if you think about much more complex APIs having hundreds of different endpoints. We can simplify that to just one command, one prompt. So definitely, a lot of time saving and a lot of benefits for our customers.